Word on the street is that Trap City Rob killed Bloodhound Lil Jeff. But do you know what happened to his family? From simmering disrespect by chasing an op onto his grandma's porch to putting the entire family in danger. This is the heartbreaking details of what happened to Lil Jeff's killer's family. Disrespected and violated. What happened to Lil Jeff's killer's family is nothing less than simmering disrespect. While violence and gangbanging are normal in the Chicago drill culture, Lil Jeff went overboard when he showed up at Trap City Rob's grandma's house intending to kill. Trap City Rob stated during an interview alongside his goons, Terror and OTF Black, shortly after Lil Jeff's death, that the Bloodhounds violated his family when they chased their ops onto his grandma's porch. It was a violation of private property and a direct message of disrespect by bringing the war to Rob's porch. They made it clear that the neighborhood was peaceful before Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds showed up with their poles at Rob's grandma's porch. Now, with Lil Jeff's invasion, Rob's grandma's house address has become more popular on Reddit than a local rapper's hit song. The entire family is now in danger, as one Reddit user pointed out that the house is iconic in drill now. But as iconic as it is today, it poses a great danger to the innocent people who live there, a danger which Rob acknowledges. That house address on Reddit definitely poses a great danger, but Trap City Rob and his homies claim they are equal to the task. They clarified that they ain't saying that they are invincible, but they will always stand on business. Interestingly, Rob has proven himself on the street as a man who is upright for his family and will protect them at all costs. It's no surprise when the word about the hit reached the street, almost everyone sided with Big Rob. One fan placed his foot in Rob's shoes and acknowledged that he wouldn't have done anything different from what went down. He said, "I don't blame that nigga. I don't care who a nigga is. You run up on Granny crib, I'm nailing shit too." Hold up. How did the street arrive at the theory that it was Trap City Rob who brought Lil Jeff to his end? Here it is. 2 days following the murder of Bloodhound Jeff, discussions on Curacology alleged that the shooter was none other than Trap City Rob. This was largely because the address where Jeff was hit belonged to Rob's grandma, and Rob has been arrested multiple times at the apartment. I Trap Rob, holding a football award, began to circulate the internet, with most people praising him as the Defensive Player of the Year. Simultaneously, Rob's photo was going viral with the caption, "Wanted." An unverified video showing a man being shot multiple times sparked a series of speculations. Even amidst unconfirmed reports, Trap City Rob began to go popular on the internet, with many comments addressing his alleged involvement in the murder. Rob is also a rapper whose music does not make numbers, but as soon as he began going viral, his music, What a Feeling, released in 2020, started to rack up streams. Obviously, being the alleged killer of Chirac's most savage killers comes with internet fame. But it gets crazier because while Rob is chasing his new fame and trying to protect his people, the police catch up with the word on the street and approach Rob with a murder charge. Police documents show that Trap City Rob, born Robert Coleman, was arrested in connection to the homicide. Authorities believe there was probable cause for the arrest of Trap City Rob because a witness identified and placed him at the crime scene where the shooting that killed Lil Jeff took place. However, Trap City Rob did not easily give in to the arrest. It was a struggle between the rapper and the Chicago police officers. According to the document, surveillance officers spotted Trap City Rob entering and leaving his apartment on S. Rhodes Avenue armed with a black firearm. It is important to mention that the surveillance officers were aware that Trap City Rob was a convicted felon and gun offender who was not supposed to own a firearm at any point in time. As soon as the officer sighted Rob, he approached him on foot. But first, he called out to the suspect, letting him know that his body cam was activated and he was under arrest. I believe the officer did that to ensure a smooth and easy arrest, but the reverse was the case. According to the report, when the police officer tried to get Trap City Rob under custody, Rob pulled away and refused to follow verbal instructions. He used dead weight to stiffen his body, making it difficult for the officer to handcuff him. The report states that Trap City Rob left the officer no choice but to employ control techniques, escort holds, and emergency takedown to get the arrestee in custody. During the struggle between Rob and the officer, a black-loaded firearm fell off Rob's thighs. At this point, Trap City. Rob continued to resist arrest until another surveillance officer joined in and forced the cuffs on Rob's wrist. It was reported that because of Trap City Rob's body size and resistance, 2 handcuffs were used on him, which resulted in injuries on his right wrist. However, Trap City Rob's actions were not without consequences. According to the document, after being placed into the squad roll, Coleman was transported directly to 2nd District lockup due to his actions and demeanor on scene. In a shocking turn of events, an investigation into Trap City Rob's involvement in the homicide failed to prove that Rob was the actual shooter. As a result, the murder charge labeled against him was dropped. But because he was caught with a gun as a convicted felon, the gun charge would stick, and he will probably get some time in jail. However, following Trap City Rob's arrest, a series of reactions and rising controversies erupted on Reddit. One user commented, "I ain't well versed on Illinois self-defense laws, but it is insane to me that anybody would be charged with murder in this situation. Was it because they kept shooting him?" Another user responded, "Ain't no self-defense for overkill, probably a couple shots or so, but not 19. While the argument was centered around whether or not Trap Lil Jeff's killer acted in self-defense, another Reddit user was concerned about dropping Rob's gun charge. The comment says, "Free his ass for that armed habitual he proved that day. Why made it a habit?" And to be honest, most fans share the same perspective, which explains why Trap City Rob was praised for standing on business after the incident. It's almost like the entire case was solved on Reddit before CPD started their investigation. However, unlike most young drill rappers, Big Rob did not brag about the hit. He simply acknowledged that it was necessary to stand on business. No wonder in the interview where Rob alongside his day one homies was filmed standing by the porch while observing their left and right for any possible threat, he started by denying his role in Jeff's death. Trap City Rob considered it necessary to begin the interview by clearing out the rumor about his involvement in Bloodhound Jeff's murder, because at the time the investigation was underway. He then proceeded to talk about his dissatisfaction with the high violence rate in the state of Chicago. Trap City Rob's perspective of the violence attracted several positive comments to his hood. One user commented, "Rob is what you call a grown man," and another quickly added, "These dudes are mature. Jeff was a little immature kid running up on some OGs. Jeff didn't think before he reacted. That's what separates a grown man from a little boy. OGs don't move the way Jeff did. OGs have rules and guidelines." Despite the praises, Trap City Rob was humble, trying to break the chain of violence in the hood. When the interviewer reminded the trio about the viral meme on Reddit where Robert's face is photoshopped on Malcolm X's iconic photo with the caption, "Protect the Trap," Rob was not impressed. The post suggests that Rob should run for president with the assurance that he will triumph in politics. Trap City Rob then acknowledged that he had seen the meme on Reddit, but he is not out to chase clout on the internet. This is largely because most of the violence and murder in Chicago happened because someone trolled or bragged about the death of a rival gang member. Trap Rob is not all about that life. He made it clear that Lil Jeff's death is a result of two hoods at war. The interview Trap Rob did with Block 2 Block revealed some facts about the ongoing hood beef between Trap City and Drill City leading to the death of Lil Jeff. Most importantly, Rob explained that he was not all about that life. Even though he enjoys drill rap, he hates the violence that comes with it. Rob would go on to say that black people keep killing each other because of things that truly don't matter. It's the same perspective that Rob's fans on Reddit, who call themselves Unk Gang, go about preaching during the internet war that started between Drill and Trap City after Lil Jeff's death. However, while Rob and his fans despise the violence, Lil Jeff died for it. Bloodhound Q50's recent Instagram post shows that Lil Jeff has been on the street long enough to catch bodies, with videos circulating showing that before 2024, Lil Jeff was moving around with a ski mask armed to his teeth like a deadly assassin. Again, in an earlier interview covering Lil Jeff's lifestyle, the young gangster revealed that he had been on the street since he turned 18. He also went on to reveal that he was no stranger to the street despite jumping off the porch at 18. Lil Jeff revealed that he had an elder brother who taught him almost everything he needed to know about the street. And if you don't know, he was talking about J Boogie. Now what? You should know is that J Boogie is about the same age group as Trap City Rob. And what's most important to note is that back in the day, these dudes were cool with each other. In the interview by Block 2 Block on YouTube, Trap City Rob confirmed that the two hoods used to be cool until the Bloodhounds stole their homie's chain, and then everything went south. But again, if you look closely, you will see even far deeper than what Rob said was the reason for the beef. At least for Bloodhound Jeff, their feud started with the death of his cousin Z Money. Let me give you a little background. The start of 2022 ushered in a new personality and sound in the Chicago drill scene, Bloodhound Lil Jeff. Although Lil Jeff credited the start of his rap career to his friend Vert, it was his gruesome lyrics and violent videos that gained him popularity and credibility in the culture. Lil Jeff was eager to rap out the violence in him and to make it known to the street that he was a gangster. He once rapped about his mom saying she told him every day that she prays I make it home, and he told her that it's okay. He was the one doing all the killing. However, when he realized how cold his rap lyrics were, he quickly flipped and announced that it was all a joke and just music. It was all fake, but that's not even the point. One thing to note was, that particular track was a tribute to his brother J Boogie, who was locked up behind bars. Now, with J Boogie in jail, Lil Jeff's cousin Z Money stepped in and started playing the role of an elder brother to Lil Jeff. He helped do his dirty work for him. He gave him the spotlight while playing the role of a background director. However, Lil Jeff and the entire Bloodhound gang would be faced with one of the most devastating losses that would sever the street alliances between Trap and Drill cities. In 2023, a decade-long alliance between Trap City and Drill City will come to an abrupt end following the death of Z Money, Lil Jeff's backbone on the street. On the hot afternoon of the 16th of March 2023, Lil Jeff's cousin and best friend, Z Money, met his death in a tragic and very mysterious manner. According to news reports, Z Money was in his car on the 1300 block of East 79th Street near the 79th intersection in Kimbark. He was in the Avalon Park neighborhood in the parking lot of a dry cleaner store. There, the tragedy unlocked. It was reported that a car approached Z Money in the neighborhood and began to fire shots in his direction. Z Money was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center. Unfortunately, there he breathed his last. Z Money's unfathomable death was a painful loss to the Bloodhounds, but most especially to Lil Jeff, who had enjoyed Z Money's protection since his brother was incarcerated. After the murder, Lil Jeff and his right-hand man Q50 would go on to tattoo Z Money's name on their skin as a tribute to their fallen hero. In 2023, a nonprofit newsroom covering gun violence in America known as The Trace reported on Z Money's case where they captured his mother's heartbreaking voice concerning her son's death. She recounted that she got a call from Z Money's girlfriend informing her that Z Money was dead. She said she called the Chicago Medical Center and confirmed the news, but she had to go there and see for herself. On getting there, she said the doctor told her that he was dead on arrival. Then she proceeded to ask about how many times her son was shot. The doctor answered, "We stopped counting at 29. Sadly, that day, Z Money became one of the 4,000 people who were fatally shot in Chicago over the last 10 years whose murderers still walk the street without any arrests, according to Chicago Police Department data. With many homicides left unsolved, thousands of families and friends are left looking over their shoulders in their neighborhoods. However, just when the situation was cooling off, the rumors about Z Money's killer's identity began to circulate. On Reddit, it was rumored that Z Money was backdoored by his old friends at Trap City. With this devastating revelation came the birth of a new monster on the street known as Bloodhound Lil Jeff. It was a swift transition almost everyone noticed. While the street was startled by the demise of Z Money, a young boy was transformed from Jeffrey Harris into Lil Jeff, also known as the Pistol Professor. Shortly after, Bloodhound Lil Jeff would go on to unleash his rage on these two boys, BKN Monty and Lil Rob, who allegedly robbed him of his jewelry, and went on to troll the entire Bloodhounds, saying they should stop wearing fake chains. Well, it's pathetic to know that the robbery was not worth the risk because shortly after, the two boys would pay with their lives. The tragic incident unfolded at the Innovations High School located in downtown Chicago in an area known as Loop. At about 12:30 noon, Lil Rob and BKN Monty were heading out of school for a lunch break towards Washington Street and Wabash Avenue. As busy as that location was, as soon as Monty and Lil Rob arrived, two cars pulled over, and some armed men jumped out and began to let out shots, killing the BKN Monty and Lil Rob. According to CPD Deputy Chief John, a group of individuals exited said vehicles, fired multiple times, striking two of the teenage students of Innovations High School. He also identified the victims as 16-year-old Robert Boston and 17-year-old Monterio Williams. According to police reports, a woman walking on the sidewalk when the shots rang out said that her coat was grazed by a bullet. Unfortunately, just like most of the murders that happen on the streets of Chicago, this one too went off without any trace of suspects. If you have been following this story, then by now you already know who our prime suspect is, but let's not hop on to police business. What you should know, however, is that somewhere on the street, death was lurking, waiting for the next time Lil Jeff would go on a drill again. The tragic end of Lil Jeff. Interestingly, the events of Lil Jeff's death are perhaps the most dramatic turn of events in the Chicago drill scene. Lil Jeff literally died trying to do what he knew how to do best, which is killing for the fun of it. I remember one of Lil Jeff's lyrics where he said every time he sees an op, he drops his mask and swings the door. Well, as it turned out, Lil Jeff never joked about a thing he rapped about. The most devastating event to have hit the Bloodhounds happened in the broad daylight of June 8, 2024. On that day, Bloodhound Lil Jeff, Q50, and one other guy were caught standing focusing on business. In surveillance footage that was later released, Lil Jeff and his gang were seen literally swinging the door and jumping off the car to smoke a rival gang member in the heart of Trap City. In the footage, which I can't show you in full because of its gruesome nature, the people in the black SUV are Lil Jeff's homies. They dropped out of the car and started firing shots at a young man on South Road Avenue. If you look closely, you will see that while the car was parked, the squad sighted the target, and Lil Jeff quickly swung the door open and started letting out shots. The target, wearing bright yellow shorts, quickly ducks behind a car and eventually runs into the porch of a building while still being shot at by Lil Jeff. Hold up, I knew Chicago was a crazy place as soon as I saw Lil Jeff wearing a black Nike hoodie and gray Nike joggers chasing his target straight into their home where he met his end. Word on the street is that after Lil Jeff spotted this guy, he went all in chasing and shooting at him. For some reason, his homies did not go with him. They stood by their car while letting out shots at the gray car. As soon as Lil Jeff hit the target, he chased him right into the porch like it was in the movies. However, a bleak tragedy was just about to unfold. The rapper and killer, who had fantasized about chasing an op into their home numerous times in his music, finally fulfilled his fantasy. Only that, this was a one-time only experience for Lil Jeff. Someone from the house counterattacked Lil Jeff, sending him out head over heels with bullets to the ground, and there lying lifeless was the man called Bloodhound Lil Jeff. The word on the street was that Lil Jeff's shooter emptied the whole magazine on him. In the same video, Q50 and the other guy could be seen running to the porch trying to cover Lil Jeff, but the shooter rained hell that the two had to settle for finding a way out of the crossfire. As soon as Lil Jeff's death reached social media, fans and colleagues began to upload tributes in respect to the falling monster. Lil Scoom 89, a close associate of the Bloodhounds, posted a series of stories following the murder, mourning his friend. "I love you, I'ma be with you real soon," he wrote, adding, "Damn brother, this she don't feel real." Another artist and video creator, AMF Visuals, posted a story as well with a picture of Bloodhound Lil Jeff and a heartbreak emoji. Both AMF Visuals and Lil Jeff produced a music video titled Ah earlier last year, and I remember when I first heard that song, I liked it and I really vibed to it. It took me a while to realize that Lil Jeff was rapping about the high school double homicide, and the ah was the sound one of the victims made while breathing their last breath. However, as expected, fans of the drill culture and other users of the internet reacted to Lil Jeff's death in different ways. One comment quickly pointed out, "The energy you put out always comes back to you." Another user added, "Trying to chase somebody into their own house off the street is the ultimate crash out move." Well, I bet Lil Jeff thought he was face to face with his fantasies. But take a look at this comment which tried to compare Lil Jeff and King Von, given that most people have called them two of one. I feel like Von represented Chicago more than Jeff because yes, Jeff was a window into the streets of the modern day Chicago wars, but Von was more of what happens to most gang members in Chicago. Von actually been to jail for bodies and beat it, and was in the wars for like a decade straight. Also, he started really young like most gang members. Von's story. If you are a fan of Chicago drill rap or like me, you follow the music, events, and news from the Chicago rap scene, then you must have noticed that Lil Jeff's artistry and rise to fame are based on the same qualities that made King Von such an interesting artist in the Chicago drill game. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, then let me plug you in on the gist. Researching King Von, I realized that this dude did not only kill several people and brag about their murders, but he fits the criteria of a serial killer as defined by the FBI. According to the FBI, serial murder is the unlawful killing of two or more victims by the same offenders in separate events. Interestingly, Lil Jeff not only claimed to have dropped more bodies than King Von, but he also rapped about them and mocked them in his song. This explains why the internet is filled with Lil Jeff and King Von's comparisons. Bloodhound moved in King Von's steps so much that DJ U asked him if he considered Von as his mentor. Although Lil Jeff tried to play that off, claiming everyone does their thing in Chirac, everyone else knows that he looked up to King Von in the way he lived his life on the street. However, one thing stood out about Lil Jeff's rise to fame, and that was his 10 body counts narrative. DJ U did not forget to bring that up during their interview. Shortly after Khalil 8 Tree Mob was killed, word on the street pinned the body on Bloodhound Lil Jeff in a shocking turn of events. Lil Jeff hopped on IG Live to update his body counts. The footage shows Lil Jeff alongside Q50 and some dudes flexing guns and vibing on live Instagram. Although there is a loud noise in the background, you can hear Lil Jeff say that he is now counting his toes. Damn, I actually respect that use of metaphor because if you count past your fingers, then you have counted more than 10. As soon as his body count started to go viral on the internet, many people refused to believe the saga. But here's the thing, if the dude said he did, then he did it. Let's not forget when he updated his Instagram with a photo showing new tattoos on his neck area. The tats were designed in the shape of teardrops, each representing a kill. He then captioned the post, "Go do the math. If you know, you know." Damn. Chicago is not for everyone. Young dudes always acting like the police don't exist. He even insinuated that he has more bodies than Bill Russell championship rings wins. He said, if I catch one more, I'm like Bill Russell, you know I really play ball. Don't take this as a joke, because while I was researching Lil Jeff's body counts, I came across this post in the Cheericology subreddit alleging that Lil Jeff dropped bodies in Milwaukee. Word on the street was that Lil Jeff was respected in Milwaukee because he was paid to kill 2 people. Come to think of it, is that why Lil Jeff molded his persona after the Milwaukee serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer? Lil Jeff Dahmer of Chicago Drill. That's a name fit for his exploits. But it is pathetic, although a natural order of things, that Lil Jeff was killed by the same violence he so much glorified. When the news began to circulate that Lil Jeff was killed by iTrap Rob, someone commented this user declared, he killed Lil Rob. Now he got by Big Rob. Although a funny remark, it goes to show how there is no way out of gang violence other than death. But here's a big question. If the police dropped Trap City Rob's murder charge, that means the shooter is out there. Who could that be? I stumbled across the words of a Reddit user, which I'd like to leave you with. I said Rob ain't pull it. The real shooter we will probably never know because they lying low and not publicly claiming it. If you enjoyed this video, click the card showing on your screen for more videos.